Part 4. The Aftermath. Let death seize upon them, and let them go down quick into hell, for wickedness is in their dwellings, and among them. Psalms 55:15. Chapter 28. Ashes of Tomorrow. The air crackled with electricity as the storm raged, a tempest mirroring the turmoil in Emily's heart. Rain lashed down in relentless sheets, attempting to cleanse the earth of the monstrous stain that had defiled it. Yet the acrid scent of smoke still hung heavy, a constant, suffocating reminder of the church, now a skeletal ruin etched against the bruised, swirling sky. In his death throes, Vargoth had taken much with it: lives, faith, and a sense of security that felt irrevocably shattered. But he hadn't taken everything. Not while a sliver of hope, however faint, still flickered in the hearts of the survivors. Zoe, mud-splattered and shivering uncontrollably, cradled Jake's still form against her, her arms aching with the weight of his limp body and the crushing weight of fear. His head lolled unnaturally to the side, his face pale and slack, devoid of the vibrant energy that usually animated his features. Her progress was significantly impeded by both the physical and emotional burden associated with him. Each step was a monumental effort, an agonizing struggle against the slick mud, the relentless wind, and the creeping tendrils of despair that threatened to engulf her. The charred remains of the church loomed closer, the skeletal frame a dark, grotesque silhouette against the storm-ravaged horizon, a monument to the horror they had just endured. Then a figure emerged from the wreckage, a phantom rising from the ashes. It was Emily. Her face was a mask of fear and dirt, streaks of grime highlighting the terror etched into her features. Her clothes were torn and singed, clinging to her damp skin, but her eyes burned with a desperate, unwavering intensity, a beacon of fierce determination in the face of overwhelming adversity. She stumbled precariously through the debris, her gaze darting frantically across the scene, searching, pleading, her movements jerky and uncoordinated. Where's Jake?" Emily's voice, raw with panic and laced with a thread of hysteria, sliced through the drumming rain and the howling wind, a desperate cry lost in the chaos of the storm. Zoe's stomach plummeted, a sickening lurch that threatened to empty its contents. She swallowed hard, forcing herself to remain calm, to project an aura of strength and reassurance, both for Emily and for Jake, who desperately needed them to be strong. "I've got him. He's not waking up. We need to get him help, now." The words tumbled out of her mouth in a rush, barely audible above the din, a desperate plea for assistance in a world that seemed to have abandoned them. Emily's face crumpled, the fragile mask of composure shattering under the weight of Zoe's words. She lurched forward, stumbling over a piece of charred wood, her knees cracking against the hard ground. The realization crashed over her with the force of a tidal wave. The horror of the battle, the utter devastation left behind by Vargoth's madness, and the very real possibility that Jake might not survive. The thought was unbearable, a gaping chasm of despair threatening to swallow her whole. Anger, raw and fierce, mixed with her fear, a potent cocktail of emotions that ignited a fire within her. It fueled her adrenaline, pushing her forward, overriding the pain in her muscles and the despair in her heart. "Get Grandpa!" Emily screamed, her voice a desperate plea against the wind, a primal cry for help in the face of impossible odds. "Call an ambulance, now!" She knew Anna, their pillar of strength and unwavering faith, was somewhere nearby, tirelessly searching for other survivors amidst the wreckage, tending to the wounded, and offering comfort to the traumatized. They had to act, and they had to act fast. Time was slipping away, and with each passing moment, Jake's chances of survival diminished. Zoe, with a trembling hand, gently brushed a lock of damp, mud-caked hair from Jake's forehead, revealing the pallid skin beneath. "Come on, Jake," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion, her words barely audible above the storm. "Don't do this to us. You're stronger than this. Fight, Jake. please wake up." An unsettling silence descended, a brief, almost unnerving lull in the storm, as if the elements themselves were holding their breath, waiting, watching. The world seemed to hold its breath, as if waiting for Jake to defy the odds, to pull himself back from the brink of oblivion. A cold dread seeped into Emily's bones, a chilling premonition that sent shivers down her spine. This wasn't just a bad dream, a terrifying nightmare from which she could eventually awaken. This was a crisis, a life hanging precariously in the balance, a battle for survival being waged in the midst of a raging storm. This was real, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Emily knelt beside Jake, her hands moving with a frantic, almost desperate energy. She checked for a pulse, her fingers shaking so badly she almost missed it. Faint. Too faint. The thread of life was there, but it was weak, fragile, barely perceptible. She leaned close, her ear near his mouth, listening intently for the slightest sign of breath, the faintest whisper of air escaping his lips. Barely there. Each shallow, infrequent breath was a victory, a testament to his resilience, but also a stark reminder of how close he was to slipping away. "Jake, come on," she pleaded, her voice cracking under the strain, her words laced with desperation and a desperate hope that bordered on blind faith. "Remember the summer we spent building that tree house in the woods? Remember the time you finally beat me at chess after church for the first time? Remember the songs we sing at church? You have to come back to us, Jake. We need you. Please, don't leave us." As Emily spoke, her fingers interlaced tightly with his. A flicker of light, imperceptible to the naked eye, danced around Jake, a subtle shimmering that seemed to emanate from within. It wasn't a physical light, visible to the world, but something deeper, something ethereal, a spark of the divine, struggling to ignite. It seemed to originate from within him, a faint ember of life, refusing to be extinguished. Inside his mind, Jake drifted in a silent, gray void, a vast, empty expanse devoid of sensation. The screams, the roars of Vargoth, the fear, they were all distant echoes, fading memories of a world he was rapidly leaving behind. He felt nothing. There was no pain, no sorrow, no terror, but neither was there joy, hope, or love. He was floating, suspended in a place where there was no up, no down, no past, no future. A limbo between life and death. He was simply existing. Then a pinprick of warmth pierced the cold gray void, a tiny flicker of heat that radiated outwards, chasing away the encroaching darkness. A whisper of a memory, faint but distinct, echoed through the emptiness. Emily's voice, clear and sweet, singing a familiar hymn, a song of hope and redemption. "Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me." The words resonated within the emptiness, a lifeline in the void, a beacon of light guiding him back from the abyss. He saw fragments of images, fleeting glimpses of a life he had almost forgotten. Emily's smiling face, radiant with warmth and affection. Zoe's teasing grin, mischievous and playful. Anna's gentle encouragement, her words filled with wisdom and unwavering faith. The smell of cookies baking in Emily's kitchen after church, the comforting aroma filling the air with sweetness and warmth. The feeling of sunlight on his skin, the gentle breeze rustling through the leaves of the trees in the woods behind the church. He saw Emily, kneeling beside him, her eyes filled with tears, her face a mask of worry and love. He heard her voice, pleading with him to come back, begging him not to give up. "I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see." The light intensified, growing brighter and warmer with each passing moment, bathing the gray void in a golden glow, a radiant aura that chased away the shadows and filled the emptiness with hope. A sense of purpose, a feeling of belonging, surged through him, a powerful wave of emotion that anchored him to the world he was about to leave behind. He wasn't ready to leave. He had friends, sisters in Christ, who needed him, who depended on him for strength and support. And he needed them. He needed their laughter, their friendship, their unwavering faith. He needed to experience life, to feel the joy of living, to contribute to the world around him. The light coalesced into a shimmering portal, a gateway back to the world of the living, beckoning him forward with an irresistible pull. "Jake, can you hear me? Jake, please, squeeze my hand if you can hear me." Zoe, instantly alert, leaned closer, her eyes wide with anticipation. Her heart hammered against her ribs, mirroring Emily's, a frantic drumbeat of hope and fear. The world swam into view, the rain lashing down, the wreckage of the church surrounding them, Emily and Zoe's anxious faces hovering above him, their expressions etched with worry and relief. He coughed, a weak, rattling sound that sent a jolt of pain through his chest. "Emily," he whispered, his voice barely audible, a faint croak that was almost lost in the roar of the storm. Tears streamed down Emily's face. "We're here, Jake. We're right here. I'm not going anywhere. I promise." Zoe reached out and gently squeezed his hand, her touch a grounding force, a reminder that he wasn't alone. "You're safe, Jake. We've got you. Just rest." In that moment, surrounded by the ruins of their former lives, a fragile spark of hope flickered, a beacon of light in the encroaching darkness. The echoes of light, the power of prayer, and the unwavering bonds of friendship had been enough to pierce the darkness and bring Jake back from the brink. Vargoth was gone, his reign of terror finally over, but his shadow lingered, a constant reminder of the danger that still lurked in the world, the evil that could manifest itself in the hearts of men. But for now, Jake was back, and that was all that mattered. The battle was far from over. The wounds were deep, and the road to recovery would be long and arduous. But they were alive. They were together, and they had each other. And as long as they had that, they had hope. They had a reason to fight. They had a reason to live.